had a nice cocktail, and we were able to get to know each other. That's important. Um, Please, I want to get feedback. Were we able to know each other? I was getting to the latter part. Maybe we know HR. We like doing tests a lot. We do a little test to see who you got to know, and then what relationship are we hoping to build. But I would like us to settle. So I would like our friends to come in quickly. Those who are outside come in, and then we will go through the purpose why we are here. But first, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Papa Usubewa. I am head of consulting for HR Certification Center. The HRBP project is under consulting for a while. And the whole reason is the course is more of a consulting program than more of a traditional HR program. And so the consulting wing of HR Certification Center is leading this program. Now, I would like to let us know about the program briefly. We'll have detailed knowledge on the program. But I would like to just tell us why we are here. Then after that, we'll take our keynote. Then from there, we'll have our conversation with our panel, our esteemed panel. Then we'll go into the HRBP certification course proper. What it's all about, why we are all here. Then at the end, we'll have some few socialization in here. But first, I would like to say that we have different organizations in here, from the banking sector, from the telecommunication center, from the service sector and the tech sector. Now, fortunately, the HRBP program is developing heavily at the tech, especially the telecommunication and the banking sector. And I know that gradually to grow into the manufacturing sector, which I believe they need it most than even the service sector. And we are here basically to start a conversation. The HR conversation has always been about the traditional HR roles: compensation and benefit, talent acquisition, the usual suspect. But there's another that helps business achieve the objective. There's another that supports the business, looks at the business vision, mission, and objective. And we normally fail to look at that. And so there's a terminology that we normally use. We say HR is the mother of the organization. But if you look at HRBP, the conversation changes. They become a partner. So sometimes they can become the father of the department, trying to make sure that they drive the department to achieve the objective. We all agree that without the concept of human resource management or people management, an organization will find it difficult to achieve its objective. It takes people to achieve an objective or to run a business. And so without the people, it will be difficult. I was on mentorship. We have a mentorship program last week, and I was doing workman's compensation, talent acquisition. And during my readings, I noticed that even the famous Apple owner said, for him, it's all about the people who are coming in. Because if you get the right people, you get the right results. And he hires because he wants the people to come and solve problems for him, and not the people coming in to come and continue with business as usual. And so we are here to have that conversation, how HR can partner the business to achieve objectives, not just managing the people, but how we manage the people to achieve that business objective. And so that's why we are here. And that's why we brought all the different people from different organizations in here. So thank you very much for coming. Now, after we will have our keynote, I just want to run you through the program outline. So we'll have our keynote. From there, we will have our panel conversation. Then our executive director will unveil the program, the HR certification course. After that, we'll have a conversation on how your organization can enroll their teams to the course. Then we'll have our board chair, Dr. Jeff Bassi, give us a short word. Then we'll be entering into the latter part of the program where we'll socialize and getting to know each other. Now, before that, can we bring it forward? Yes, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker. But I want her to come here so that we can all see her well. So yes, please. No, let her come here. Now, our keynote speaker, it's someone that when I got to know her, I did a little research and I was inspired. And I was telling my colleague that when I grow up, I would want to be like her. And a colleague told me that, Papa, I thought you had already grown. So she's in the person of Miss Fiona Anthony. She's a strategic HR leader and a transformation consultant with over 15 years of experience across multinational organizations, consulting in high growth sectors. She is currently lead HR operations at MTN Ghana, where she oversees HR business partnering, talent acquisition, employee engagement, and compliance. Fiona has a strong track record in aligning people's strategies with business goals, and I believe that's what we need here tonight. Driving cultural transformation and building talent fit. Her work is rooted in human-centered, purpose-driven workplace where people thrive and organizations grow sustainably. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like us to invite our keynote speaker, Miss Fiona Anthony. Oh, we can do it better. We are HRs.
Thank you very much. Good evening, distinguished guests, colleagues, and fellow leaders. It's truly a privilege to join you today for the launch of this important program. Let's take a moment and imagine a moment. You are seated in a leadership meeting. The agenda is growth, expansion, market leadership. The numbers are compelling. The ambition is clear. The urgency is undeniable. And then one question is asked: do we actually have the capability and the leadership depth to deliver this? And in that moment, the room goes quiet. Because while the strategy is sound, the people dimension has not been fully interrogated. So the conversation shifts, assumptions are challenged, plans are reworked, not just from a commercial perspective, but from a human one. And what emerges is not just a better strategy, but a strategy that that can actually be executed. That moment is the difference between HR being present and HR shaping the outcome. And that brings me to a simple but powerful truth. HR is no longer a support function. It is a strategic force shaping the future of enterprise performance. Across industries, we are witnessing a fundamental shift. The organizations that will succeed in the next decade will not just be those with the best strategy, but those with the capability to align people, culture, and execution to that strategy seamlessly and at speed. And that is where HR must lead. Today, I'd like to share perspectives on how we can reposition HR not as a service provider, but as a true business partner driving measurable organizational impact. The first point I'll be speaking to is around the business case for strategic HR. Historically, HR has been seen as an administrative focused on policies, processes, and compliance. But today, the business context has changed dramatically. Markets are more volatile, talent is mobile, technology is reshaping work, and expectations of employees and leaders are evolving rapidly. In this environment, organizations cannot compete without a deliberate strategic approach to people. The question is no longer how effectively is HR delivering services. The question now is how effectively is HR enabling growth, agility, and competitive advantage. Think of it this way: strategy is the blueprint, people are the builders. You can design the most sophisticated blueprint, but if the builders lack the capability, coordination, or leadership, the structure will ultimately fail. We see this everywhere. Transformation programs stall not because of poor strategy, but resistance and capability gaps. Expansion plans slow down, not due to ambition, but lack of leadership depth. Growth strategies under deliver not due to intent, but execution breaks down. This means execution risk is fundamentally a people risk. And managing that risk is not administrative work, it is strategic work. HR must therefore shape workforce strategy, inform business decisions, and drive organizational transformation. Because HR is not adjacent to business outcomes, it is central to them. Two, the evolving role of the HR business partner. This shift elevates the role of the HR business partner. The HR business partner is no longer a policy interpreter, a process owner, or a reactive problem solver. Instead, the HR business partner must become a trusted advisor to leadership, a co-architect of business strategy, and a driver of organizational performance. Think of the organization as a high-performing sports team. Strategy is the game plan, leaders are the coaches, employees are the players. So one might ask, where is HR? Too often, HR behaves like the team administrator, managing logistics, has everybody eating, do we have t-shirts, and ensuring compliance. Are we following the policy? That's not what the policy says. But organizations do not win because of administration. They win because of performance. The HRBP must therefore operate as a performance coach, identifying gaps before they cost results. Must also behave as a strategic advisor, influencing how decisions are made. And third, must also be a challenger, ensuring the team is truly ready to win. This requires moving from activity to impact, moving from support to influence, and moving from execution to insights. An effective HRBP must sit at the decision-making table and ask, what capabilities do we need to win? Do we have the leadership strength to deliver? How do we redesign for agility? And critically, HR must bring data, insights, and courage into the room. Because influence is not granted by title, it's earned through value and credibility. The third point is around critical capabilities and mindset. If HR is to truly operate as a strategic partner, we must intentionally build new capabilities. Let me highlight 5 that I believe are essential. The first is business acumen. Imagine trying to advise a pilot without understanding how an aircraft works. That is what happens when HR lacks business understanding. HR professionals must deeply understand one, the business model of the business they support, what are the revenue drivers, and the market dynamics, because you cannot shape a business you do not understand. The second capability is around strategic thinking. We must move beyond short-term fixes to anticipating workforce needs. The business is growing. What workforce needs do we need? We must align talent strategy to business goals, and we must design for long-term sustainability. The third capability is data-driven decision making. Intuition is not enough. Gut feel is not enough. HR must leverage workforce analytics, predictive insights, and evidence-based decision making because data strengthens our voice at the executive table. Fourth capability, stakeholder influence. HRBPs must be able to challenge constructively, guide leadership decisions, and build trust at all levels. The fifth capability is around courage and mindset shift. Perhaps most importantly, the value of HR is not in what it knows, but in what it is willing to say. HR must shift from support to leadership, from risk avoidance to value creation, from compliance to strategic impact. We must be willing to challenge, to innovate, and to lead because without courage, HR remains safe, and safe HR does not transform organizations. Let me repeat that again. Because without courage, HR remains safe, and safe does not transform organizations. While individual capability is critical, the organization itself must be ready. So you can have everything, but if the organization is not ready, there will be no change. So think of this transformation like upgrading to a high performance engine. If the system around remains outdated, performance will still be limited. Repositioning HR requires one, structural alignment. Clear HRBP rules embedded within business units, strong centers of excellence, efficient shared service, without which the HRBP function will not operate properly. The second thing after structural alignment is leadership buy-in. Business leaders must see HR as a strategic partner, involve HR early in decision making, and hold HR accountable for business outcomes and not for activities. Third, there must be a cultural shift. The organization must embrace collaboration over silos, strategy over administration, and impact over activities. Because without this shift, even the best HRBPs will struggle to deliver value. As I conclude, let me leave you with this thought. The future of HR will not be defined by what we do, but by the value we create. This program you are launching today is timely and essential. It is not just about certification, it's about transformation. Transformation of how HR is perceived, how HR operates, and how HR contributes to the organization's success. Think of HR as the operating system of an organization. When the system is weak, execution slows, decision weakens, performance declines. But when it is strong, the organization becomes faster, more aligned, and more resilient. That is the opportunity before us. So I encourage all of us, be bold in redefining HR, be intentional in building capability, and be relentless in driving business impact. Because when HR succeeds as a business partner, organizations don't just perform, they thrive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Fiona. Please, I think we can do a better one for Fiona. That was very, very apt. And for me, one of the things I took from her presentation was when she said, excellence is not won by titles. I don't know if you have seen this video by the Botswana president when he was talking to his cabinet. And he was telling them that they have carried the name excellencies and they can't see beyond their positions. And they have become so formal that they can't even do the work. So when she said excellence is not by titles, it really brought that to the fore. And thank you for that. And you mentioned how to redesign for agility. Indeed, HR has really changed, and this program is very, very timely. So to take us into the next more conversations around the HR business partner, and the theme, as you all know, is the strategic shift, responding HR as a business partner for organizational impact. We also want to acknowledge our audience who are online. Please note if you have any questions, you drop them in the comment section. Our team would engage you, and you are definitely part of the conversations that we're going to have. Next, we're going to have a panel discussion, and we're going to talk about thought leadership, or it's a thought leadership panel discussion. And the faces, these are people that we know. To help us in the moderation, she is passionate about HR and communication. She's a communication professional. She has over 2 decades of experience across energy, media, academia, corporate strategy, and she's currently serving as a HR business partner in an oil and gas company, where she champions employee engagement, talent development, and organizational transformation. As a certified ADR practitioner and leader and a trainer, she has equipped more than 800 HR professionals. Wow. And business leaders with practical skills and globally recognized HR competencies. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, help me welcome our moderator, Nanekia Edubia Obeng. Then I'm going to also introduce 3 other gentlemen who will be helping her in this conversation. Next is a seasoned human capital and organizational development leader, currently serving as the head of people and purpose at Deloitte Ghana. He leads the firm's people strategy, driving talent management, culture transformation, leadership development, and workforce effectiveness, or effectiveness initiatives aligned with business objectives. So he's very apt for the conversation we're going to have. He brings diverse experience across consulting and international development, having contributed to human capital and institutional strengthening projects linked to African Union and the World Bank. With a round of applause, help me welcome Kweku Owusu Opoku. Esquire, I have to add that, Esquire. It's important that I mention, go through their profiles
So please bear with me. You have to know the caliber of people who will be driving these conversations. Next is another gentleman. He's a result-oriented human resource professional with over a decade of experience in talent management, change management, performance optimization, and HR business initiatives. Implemented performance and HR business initiatives in various companies and driven talent strategies to support business transformation and competitive advantage. He holds a bachelor's degree in social science from the University of Ghana and is a SPHRI certified human resource practitioner. He's also a certified Prosky change management practitioner. Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause, help me welcome Ephraim Ni Eji Bano. Oh, please, it's important to clap for him. Right. Next is an experienced human resource business partner at Huawei Technologies, Ghana, with over a decade of experience in recruitment, performance management, and HR operations. He has a strong track record in leading strategic recruitment initiatives, including rebuilding high-performing teams, and is well versed in onboarding, training, management, and collective agreement negotiations. With a round of applause, help me welcome Festus E.K. Bedu. So this is our panel, and it's going to be led by Nanekia. So Nanekia, your audience, your moderator.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Audible enough, producer director. Thank you very much, team. In fact, when the keynote speaker was talking or was delivering, I sat there gazing and I asked myself, what are we going to be able to talk about? Because she basically, right, absolutely. I was like, wow, that's deep. What are we going to talk about? But of course, I read about my panel members. I trust you, and we are definitely going to send them home, those here, those online, with something very powerful and insightful. As she said, those are the days when HR was known, and in fact, sometimes in certain circles, still known to be tagged with just paperwork and policies and all that. But business has changed. The demand is such that we need to speak to figures. We need to be able to fall in love with speakers. We need to be able to turn around figures and come out with something that can drive a change. And at the end of the day, it will lure to doing what? Resulting, increasing ROI. And that is what we are intending to do this evening. So once again, honorable panel members, you're welcome. So let me ask you this, and I know all of you may not have prepared for this question, but I would love to start with that. Have you ever experienced looking at where you're coming from, this onset of, in fact, let's all say thank you to David Urich, right? Because we're all aware that he's the father of HRBP. We should be very grateful to him, and it is really working magic. So back to what I was trying to find out. Have you ever experienced the situation where you were or are, HRBPism, as I call it, just kickstarted and it brought chaos? Have you ever experienced that thing? Because probably they were new to it. Council, do you want me to start with you? And then you come. Do you want me to start with you?
Okay, thank you. So usually what happens is, standing on the keynote speaker's comments, the business will take a decision to transform and they will introduce the HRBP model. but the same team remains within the HR function. So you now have HRBP, senior HRBP, all those HRBP titles that you can think of. But the functionalities which they were performing before the introduction of the HRBP does not change. So you have HRBP that is still being administrative, that is still following processes,
Right.
that is still carrying papers from one office to the other for approval, that is still chasing T-shirts and name them.
Lunch and
So we have a lot of HRBPs, trust me, you have a lot of HRBPs, but the strategic acumen, the appreciation of what happens within the business, leading business strategy and combining it with people strategy to make sure that the organization achieve its core objective is missing.
right.
So the model is there, the people are there, but the outcome is negative.
So is that okay? So back to what I asked. Was there such an experience? It was new. So they were like running helter skelter. Isn't it the same? What was the difference? And they end up probably fighting amongst themselves.
Okay, good question. I have this question before I go ahead. Now, the person that introduced the HRBP model, does the person understand? Does the person know the expectation of the HRBP model?
You mean as in the leader?
The leader himself doesn't know.
Fantastic.
So the person probably went for a meeting, met other CEOs, and heard about HRBP. So this is a next item.
And so let's run with it.
Exactly. So the person comes back from a conference and says, no, I think we need to change our name from HR to HRBP. I think it's happening these days. We hear human capital, we hear all kinds of things. So that is the model. So the person now comes and thinks the HRBP is the same HR that he knows. Without doing the research to understand what goes into it and the expectations of an HRBP.
Okay, so what you are saying is that such a problem that I'm trying to find out whether you have actually experienced that before did crop up because the leader did not understand or leadership did not appreciate that.
Because when you change the formation, the players will change.
Right.
Let's take football. When you are doing 4-4-2 and you are down by a goal and you want to change the formation, immediately you need to change your right wing, your left wing, and your top. But you cannot change the formation and still use the same players to start with. You lose.
Right. All right. I guess I'll come back to you. That same question is very important to me,
Yes.
and probably how you even handled it.
Yes.
And
yes.
then I'll come to you. You tell us about the mandate, the core mandate of the HRBP.
Yes, so I just want to look at it from this perspective now. In setting up the HR business model from the HR perspective, it's fine because we are all HR. We understand what's the role, what is expected of the role, etc. Now, what we need to do is how we get our partners to appreciate the role. Now, coming to your question, I had the experience in setting up HR business partner model within the consolidation time where we merge about 7 banks together. Now, we had a name business partner. You know what you are expected to do, but the businesses which you partner do not appreciate the role, and so the whole thing was all over the place. They will bypass you and go to your head with information and requests, etc. They will put their strategy together without consulting you because they do not, or we have not carried them along in terms of what the business partner or the HR business partner is there to do and the value is going to add to their business. So that brought the chaos in terms of how they appreciate the role and how they collaborate with the HR business partner to make sure that we deliver a value for the organization. So that was the challenge I faced when we started. The
So
business
that was
partner
due to
role.
lack of sensitization. We didn't carry all of them along. We just said that, okay, so these are the HRBP's simplicity, and we let it as it is.
Yeah, kind of. So in terms of what the HR certification center actually want to do in terms of the new certification that is basically conversation around ourselves. But we need to take the conversation step further to get our partners to appreciate the role and what the value they are going to get by ensuring that we collaborate with each other to deliver the value that we want to do. Because you can have all the, just as the key speaker said, you can have all the beautiful strategy, etc. If your partners do not appreciate what you do and what you bring to the table, you end up having an HR strategy looking somewhere else and the business strategy looking somewhere else. And then at the end of the day, you are not giving value. So I think we need to move the conversation after this level to where we bring other people in terms of the businesses that we partner to appreciate the role and how we can deliver value going forward.
Sure. And Festus, that's actually leads us to reappreciating. We want to jump this particular challenge that we've all spoken about, then we need to appreciate the core mandate, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, so
certainly.
please take us through that with your experience.
But a word on the challenge.
Right.
The HR business partner model, it's easy to apply in institution or setup where they are more projectized or where department deliver key results on their own. For institutions where everything is merged, then it becomes very challenging for HRBP to operate very effectively.
Festus, can you come clear on that?
Exactly.
Institutions where everything is meshed, what does that mean?
Yes, certainly. So for some institutions, the reporting lines, everybody almost reports to one or two authorities at the top.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
For larger institutions where there are functional departments with various heads, the concept of HRBP, it's much more easier to apply. It's not easy in the context of the word easy, but it's more applicable. So we are looking at a department handling various and very big projects, and then an HRBP can actually take charge of such functions or those departments. The one who introduced the keynote speaker talked about areas where HRBPs are operating in Ghana, and it's also said that you're looking forward to HRBP integrating manufacturing industry among other. So these are some of the examples where HRBP models or functions work very much effectively. Now coming to the main question.
The mandate, yes.
Yes, the mandate. So we're seeing a shift from HR operation to being a strategic HR partner. You must be the one translating strategy of the entire organization into delivering what is expected of the whole organization. So we are looking at the HRBP as a strategic translator in that sense. The keynote speaker actually mentioned most of the mandates. We are looking at the HRBP also being the architects of data-driven results. So the HRBP must have the competence and capability to be able to speak to other decision makers with data. Where data speaks, it's easy to comply. Then we are looking at the HRBP as someone who brings energy, vitality to the work climate and the working environment, which is very, very important. And it is one of the key things that employees in general look out for. The environment in which we are operating, is it toxic? Is it a welcoming environment? The project we are working on, how are we relating to? We are looking at all the matrices and the various communication, employee leadership, intra-employee communication. How do you bring the energy that is required to the table? But the transformational role that you play is actually in the translation of the strategies where you are part together with leadership to bring. So instead of being reactive to replacing a staff when they move, you must think of the strategy. Are we pursuing a growth strategy? If it's a growth strategy, which areas are we looking at? Are we looking at sales? If you're looking at sales, are we looking at high level sales personnel? Where are they in the market? So
Okay.
before we think of expansion, then we are thinking of the various personnel that will drive that growth. Then
Okay.
the discussion is not just about the blueprint, as the keynote speaker says, but who is actually implementing the blueprint. And the HRBP is actually the lead in making sure the organizations are successful in that
Okay.
regard.
Right. So you could be online or you could be sitting here. You may be in a leadership role. You're looking forward to introducing HRBPism, as I put it, at your workplace. Remember that if the leadership does not understand, it won't work. Remember that as leadership, if you do understand and it's just sitting at your desk, just amongst leadership, and you do not carry the people that are going to work it, the people that are going to live it, the other stakeholders in the other department that they are going to work with, if you do not carry them along, we are definitely not going to get results. One huge challenge that we've also appreciated is the fact that if the entity has not really distinguished their functionalities very well, there's also going to be a problem. So you can just pocket this. Let me come to you again, Esquire. What actually differentiates the HRBP role as against the regular HR role?
Okay, thank you very much. So, from the HRBP perspective, as against the traditional HR process, the key distinction is the value driven. So, as an HRBP, you need to appreciate the end-to-end processes of the organization. In fact, I tell people, if you are the HRBP, think like the CEO. You need to know where the raw materials are coming from. You need to understand how our processes start, where it starts from, where the bottlenecks are, where we get our revenue from, where we are getting our losses from, and all of that. That is the only way you are able to contribute meaningfully to the business from the HR point of view. So, for instance, I have been in a situation where the marketing team will say, no, let's introduce that product, let's introduce that product. So I am one person that usually I am actively involved in everything within the organization. So they are doing market activation and I am with them. What you realize is that the very product that you have introduced is competing with your existing product. So if we are having production meeting and we are complaining about profit, we cannot, because we have introduced a competitor within our own market. You are there when they are doing production schedule, and HRBP, you are there, they are talking about having a production time hours of 16, and you are quiet. What does your law say? If you are going to produce 16 hours, it is fine. What do we have in place to make sure we are not going against the law? What does our policy say? Instead of running one shift, are we able to do two shifts? There are instances, okay, the core team, let us split the core team, let us work with casuals. So you have casuals that support half of the team, they do one shift, and then another shift that comes to support the other half, so that we are balancing our production needs. But the difference is you need to understand the business. If you don't understand the business, trust me, there's nothing you can do. You just end up doing the traditional HR. And again, when you don't also create value as an HRBP, a lot of things will bypass you. Because you go to them for information and they are like, HR, what does HR need what do they need these numbers for? HR to, no, you don't need.
But Esquire, Council, does this not happen only when the leadership, as we keep on saying, does not understand? Because how would you on earth, if you understand HRBP role, you would ask that what does the HRBP need numbers for? They need that for data. They need to analyze.
Okay, so practically, like I said, I was very happy and passionate when I got the invitation to join the discussion. I have had an HRBP who have submitted to me a monthly report that have numbers. And I said, guy, what is the meaning of these numbers? And the person doesn't know.
How?
Yes, because there's HRIS, you go in, you put your report, and it gives
It
you
generates
it
it
gives
for
you
you.
graphs. And the person now forwards the raw graph to me.
Okay.
And I look at it, I'm like, okay, what is the meaning of this graph?
So train the person to be able to do that next time.
No, so I should tell you
Next
that.
part? Or absolutely.
Right. So that is a reality on the ground
Right.
with the HRBPism, as I'm learning from you.
I know, right?
That is a reality on the ground, really. But I mean, our value proposition, I think we need to enhance it.
Right.
Really, yes. we
So,
need to enhance
still on this one. So, does it also mean that you didn't get the right people to fit into that HRBP role? Because it takes a lot. HRBP role is not an ABC role, if you ask me. It takes a lot. Does it mean that the resourcing unit or the recruitment and selection units of that company also failed?
So, like I said earlier, we are a team of players. Currently, we play basketball. Then we said, no, basketball is no more profitable. Let's switch to football. We use the same basketball players to go and play football. So if playing the football along the line, they even catch the ball. Meanwhile, he's not the keeper. And you're surprised. You did not change the players. Why do you change the game? Change the players.
Okay, boss, I really want to find out this, right? Does what HRBP do depend on the space they find themselves? So, does the role play different when you're in the manufacturing world? Does it play different when you are in the oil and gas? Does it play different when you are in the banking field?
Okay, thank you very much. Just before I take that, I wanted to add to the conversation you started earlier in terms of how do we um, add value to the organization. I think in my experience as business partner, I have identified, and I think as this course comes on in terms of how we are going to certify people to become business partner, we need to look at how HRs are going to co-create solutions. Now, what we normally do is that HR will always want to appear as a solution person. So this is your problem, this is your solution. When it happens like that, it becomes difficult to run it on the ground. What it means is that the leaders cannot own or do not appreciate the solution you've brought to them. So, our ability as HRs to be able to co create solutions for their problems enables them to be accountable to the HR initiatives that we are running. Let me give an example. Now, if the business is sales is declining, for example, and as HR you diagnose and you identify what solutions to be, it will be better to sit with the businesses for them to appreciate asking relevant questions. And there's this word AI, I've forgotten, but for them to understand that in running an HR initiative like talent management or like acquisition or like training, what the training you are running is to help a certain challenge he has identified in his space. So in that case, when I come to you as a business leader and I said, give me this data, he appreciates and understands that that data is going to help him to achieve a particular objective or strategy that he has put in place. So our ability as HRs to be able to co-create solutions and not always spoon feed our business is really the game changer. Now, when it comes to the question in terms of whether the HR business partner changes relative to the space you find yourself, I don't think so. I think the mandates, just as my colleague mentioned, is the same. Now, as a business partner, as a strategic person as you are, your ability is to work with the business in terms of making sure that the strategies that they have set for themselves are actually executed. Now, how do you do that? For example, if a business sets out to do, let's say, grow your business by X amount of percentage. Now, you as a business partner needs to ask questions. Is the growth going to come from market expansion or additional sales, increasing in additional sales, etc.? Because every strategy has a people implication. So you need to really get the foundation, which is supporting the business with the people initiative that will get the strategy to be manifested, if I want to be spiritual a bit. Now,
Feel free.
now, as I use the example, so in at where I worked in 2023 or so, the business set out to be a market leader when it comes to SME banking. Now, they have a beautiful strategy to be a market leader in SME banking. As the business partner, as a strategic partner, in fact, what you need to do is ask the relevant questions. Do we have the right people?
Skill set.
The skill sets, exactly. Do we have the leaders that will be able to push or drive this business? In fact, does our structure even support in terms of our ability to enter into the market very quickly, etc.? So these are conversations you need to pick up. They wanted to be a market leader. Meanwhile, the head of the SME who was going to drive that huge business was just a head. And you look at the capabilities, the job description of that particular manager, there's no way we will be able to achieve that particular strategy. And so you pick up those conversations to look at the structure, to look at the capabilities, whether we need to enhance those capabilities, etc. Do we need to buy in terms of bringing in additional staff who push us straight into the market, etc. So yours is high level in terms of being proactive and looking at what people enablers should be available for us to be able to achieve those strategies.
Great, thank you very much. Would you say there are, no, I come to you. No, you can, yes. Would you say there are particular areas that when HRBP is well practiced, it's well done, those areas are well impacted? Are there some areas in the business that when HR business partnering is effectively executed, the output is glaring out there?
All right, thank you for the question. For me, I want us to focus on two keywords before I answer the question. One is business, and the other one is partner. Yeah, I think as HR, in our discussions and our approaches, we tend to miss the fact that we are partners to the business, and without having that mindset, the role of HRBP cannot work. And this is the challenge I think most organizations are having from the conversations. So first and foremost, the business acumen, and secondly, your ability to partner either the C-suite, the core team, or the leadership of which you are now part of. So coming to the question, so the first thing that must be done from the HRBP perspective is his ability to first and foremost understand the business. When you understand the business and you have the same business mentality as the other leaders, then you should be able to cooperate with them. The cooperation will involve maybe you improving, first and foremost, strategic workforce planning, which is very key as one of the core functions that will make every business successful. Because if you don't have the right personnel, you cannot deliver the result that you intend to deliver. And that is number one. The second part that we need to look at it. What other skills? Are you able to speak to data as an HRBP? Um, even within the workforce planning, it's not just about recruiting a certain number of people. The number of people you are recruiting, what are their effects on your capital? Their effect on return on investment. These are some of the core things that we need to look at, because the personnel bit is very important as even as HRBPs. Then the the key things that we need to build is also trust. What brings trust between people among a team is your ability to provide solution to others when they approach you. Um, the things that you require to do. Are you able to tell a manager that is going in certain direction that, okay, the law doesn't say this, or if you do this, it's going to affect the morale of your team, or people working on projects? Are you able to develop certain incentive for them as an HRBP to be implemented? So the key skills and the capabilities that you need to have are all centered around having, first and foremost, business acumen. Secondly, your ability to engage stakeholders at a high level. And that is where the partnership comes in. You should be able to use data to actually drive conversations. As the keynote speaker said, you don't gain authority by imposing yourself, but you gain that authority by building trust. And the trust comes from the solutions that you provide to business for them to deliver the result that they need.
So I asked one question, but you've actually answered another question that I was about to ask you. So you've actually given the 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 competence level of the HRBP. What would we need? What kind of character are we looking out for, and all that? You've actually added that. And so what I picked from the question that I asked is that you are saying that the areas that when HRBP is effectively done, it can bring about some improvement is when the workforce, they are able to really do the workforce planning very well. And then also when they are very analytical in terms of data, right? Okay, so now I want us to go very practical, and I'm not going to mention anybody's name. Any of you can really catch it and then throw it back at us. Okay. Practically, what example can you give us that, oh, yeah, at my workplace, through this HRBP intervention, it increased a certain level of growth. Our productivity level went high, our turnover went low, and all that practically. Any practical example any of you have? Sure.
Okay, so I'll share example now. Before the example, we talk about business acumen on a very lighter note, but it's serious. Now, at some point in time, I had to take up a colleague's role who was also a business partner. She was partnering treasury department. Now, she had to take some leave, so I had to step in. My first job was to sit in a business meeting with MD, with the director in charge of that, to discuss business. When I got into the meeting, in fact, the director was saying all sort of things that I have never seen it in my life before. Mentioning short, long, bamboozling us with all sort of things. And at the end of the conversation, what he told the MD was that we need X number of staff.
Right.
And then the MD was like, sorry, Frame, when can we get this number of staff, etc. Then I said, MD, because I didn't want to also expose myself that I didn't understand everything. So I told MD that, MD, let me put a project plan together and I'll get back to you. Now, in that meeting, there was the head of credit also there. So when the man stepped out, the head of credit was his message to MD was like, MD, before I finish my end of year performance, I want you to add training on treasury because whatever this man came to see, I didn't understand anything. Then I got comfort that at least I'm not the only person who was confused. Now, going straight into the discussion, he says he wanted staff, X number of staff, about 10, etc. So after the meeting, I went to him and I said, you know what? I didn't understand anything you came to say there. So I need us to have a 1 hour meeting and run me through exactly what. And I want you to be to see that I don't understand. So come down to my level, then I can appreciate and help you. So we had a 1 hour meeting and he took me through everything that he wanted to do. You know, there are simple things. And he mentioned all sort of things that confused me. So when I finished with him in the meeting, I had to speak with other business partners in other banks to understand what they do, etc., and things like that. Now, I was able to identify that the challenge the man was facing was not a people challenge in terms of additional numbers. It was a capacity thing in terms of we have people who are there. We can position their job in such a way that they can take up other roles to drive the strategy that they want to achieve. And so that is what is expected of a business partner. Not just to say that they want 10 and so I've gone to deliver 10, recruit 10. Then you are becoming a traditional HR person. So we're able to support the business by understanding what they needed and positioning the job in such a way that we increase their capacity to deliver the kind of productivity that they want.
Okay, so everyone Festus, I just want you to look into the camera, thinking of those online who are yearning to be HR business partners, people here who have been there but have been faced with certain challenges. What punchy line would you throw into their memory that they will keep thinking about it the whole night? That will cause a change as we wrap up.
All right. Well, I would say that first and foremost, if you want to be impactful on the business, one of the key functions that you need to come into or adopt for yourself is the HRBP role. Simply because as an HRBP, you are not just a strategic leader. You are not just somebody who is savvy in the business with business acumen. You are not just anybody who knows how to partner with the C-suite or your core team, but you are actually the change leader of your organization. And being a change leader speaks volume about what HRBPs actually do as their core mandates. You are bringing transformation. You are the visionary person that is impacting business, not just through resourcing, but you're actually impacting business through energizing the work environment, strategically planning the workforce as well, but at the same time, driving business. Because I'd wanted to give a very practical example to just conclude with this. I needed to manage a change, not in Ghana, but in Liberia, even in Sierra Leone. And as a Ghanaian, well versed in the business space of Ghana, the HR processes, the labor law, among other things. Within a space of 2.5 months, I needed to transition people and change the business model of a telecom company in another country. What it means is I first need to understand the business environment of that country. The partners within the company where we are collaborating with, I needed within that short space of time know their laws,
Mhm.
and how to transition stuff,
And their culture, right?
and the culture.
Yeah.
And we are looking at people coming from experiencing war in a war-torn country in the past, their psyche and how they approach everything.
Mm.
So within 2.5 to 3 months, we're able to deliver that change in a major change as a business partner, not as a commercial head of department or as the CEO of a company,
Yeah.
but as the HRBP of the team.
And it led to some increase in numbers, right? At the end of the day.
Certainly.
Absolutely. Right. Escora, I'll come to you. Your punchy line.
Okay, thank you. So, last words, I will say, first, you need to think value. You need to understand the process of the organization. You have to be bold. You need to be curious, and you need to be human. So this will be my last words. Now, to understand the business, if you understand the business, that is when you can create the value that the business desires. That will be the combination of that.
Right.
And you need to be bold. Because you need to understand the business, it means you are leaving your comfort zone, which is HR. To understand if it's a banking sector, you need to understand what do you do, debit and credit. If it's production, you need to understand the lines.
Right.
If it's transport sector, you need to know how they track vehicles, how many kilometers do you need to cover a liter, how liters versus kilometer, you need to know, so that when they load the truck, you should be able to know whether they are cheating the business or not. So that is it. And then you need to be curious.
Right.
When you are curious, you are now wondering, where is our profit coming from? Where are the bottlenecks? What can I do?
It pushes you to
It
achieve.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then you need to be human, because sometimes we push strategy, forgetting we are working with human beings. That is usually the thing. We are strategy, target. Please, they are humans. So in all of this, let's be human. Thank you.
Great. In all of this, let's be human. Thank you very much. If you're online, if you joined us online, I'm sure that your mind is very clear about everything that you need to know about HRBPism. It works. It can allow, if you understand it, it will allow you to increase your numbers. Your ROI will always be green and never red. But one thing that I want to just add, that if you want to be an HRBP, you need to be able to learn how to communicate. It is a very powerful tool. You need to communicate with the stakeholders that you are going to work with to achieve that business strategy. Emotional intelligence is another one critical area that you need to just grasp it like that. For Fina to be nodding the head is correct, right? All right, thank you very much, wonderful panel members. I'm sure that everybody has a decision right now. And indeed, this is the first lesson from HRCC as we start this particular course. Thank you very much, those online, and thank you very much, those here as well. I think it's now time for Q&A, and we're calling Kwabena to do justice. I think you're going to help us do that, yes. Any question?
Two.
Yes, my lady in green.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you. My name is Lodilia. I'm from VRE.
Okay.
I had about 3 questions, but along the line, I think one was answered. So I'll just jump on to the 2. Alluding to your example, Esquire, on the 4-4-2 formation for the football game, does it mean that you have to change the players in order to introduce your HRBP? You stated emphatically yes. Okay. Doesn't it mean that you'll be increasing your cost in terms of recruiting new persons into the role of HRBP? That's question one. And then question two, that one can go to any of the panel members. Um, in my in the environment where I work, we have a specific department in charge of translating the objectives to what each department is expected to do every year. Because we start with the chief executive's planning letter, which spells out what the business is doing that year. And so that department comes in to break it into pieces so that every department has what specifically you'll be measured on. In this case, when you are advancing the proposal of an HRBP in the organization, how does it differ from that department? I hope you get me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I will take my own bullet. Apparently, I set the question along the line without knowing, but I'll attempt. So what happens is this: if I will stay within the sports parameters. If you use basketball players to play a football game, eventually you go on relegation, which is more expensive. So if you have unperforming team or undesirable team, or you have squares in round holes and it's not helping you, and the cost of changing the team is 5,000, I will advise that go for a loan, change them, get valuable players. From that 5,000, they will multiply and give you 5 million. Thank you.
Okay. I will also take the other one, but in terms of changing people, I don't know. But from the HR that I have been doing in the past, I hate changing people. Using the same football ideology, I have seen people transition from a left back to a right wing, from a defender to a striker. So let's always see how we can improve. Everybody has their strength. Let's see how we can improve people to get the value out of them. Now, on your question in the strategy team that you have and what HR business partner is trying to do. Now, what you do is that in my organization, before HR puts their strategy together, me as a business partner sit with the business, understand what they want to do or what they want to achieve in terms of their objective before I put or I assist my director to put the HR strategies together. Okay, so once you do that, it's in sync to whatever the business wants to do, then you can take it from there. Because mind you, the HR business partner, you are the link between what the business wants and what the organization will deliver. Now, in terms of what the business wants to do, you have to put those things, those people initiative together to make sure that the business achieve whatever they want to achieve. Thank you.
Thank you. On the first question, I think I'll toe the line of Ephraim because there is also capability improvements. Yes. Esquire, we are sacrificing you. We have to look at building capacity for staff who are taking new challenges, taking on new challenges, taking on new roles. Because transitioning from an HR officer, a specialist, an assistant, to an HRBP role is a huge leap. Or because assuming you are a senior HR generalist and you have very solid knowledge in business area as well as HR practices, it's easier for you to transition into an HRBP role than picking just a specialist in one area or an HR officer or an assistant and putting the person there to be an HRBP, because you are looking at somebody who understands business on one hand. You are looking at somebody who should be able to engage stakeholders at a high level, engage the C-suits, and engage the core team. The core teams are not just TLs, they are not team leads. These are head of departments, and these are either vice presidents in charge of various sessions in there. So you need people who are savvy to be able to play this function. And that is why knowledge in this role is very important. And on this note, I would only recommend the course that is to be launched to people who want to do this. And then the second question, I'll answer it as a strategy professional. So we're using strategy, but the term can also be used very loosely, right? Because strategy is, we're looking at what is actually the plan that is drawn by a section of the top executives. Strategy can be discussed with the entirety of the team to know where business wants to go. But each department have their goals that they want to achieve. So what we are looking at, how do we achieve the goals of the departments? Now, if every department achieves their goals, then the strategy for the company is also achieved. So the strategy team, as the big companies do have, you have a department that is in charge of strategy. But as the HRBP, within the goal that is set for the company, within the goals that are set for the departments to be achieved, how are you going to drive the team and leadership to achieve those goals? And it is in that sense that the word strategy is being used as we are hearing strategic planning. It doesn't mean we are sitting at the top with the MD and doing the strategy planning for the company. These are two different things that we need to identify as HRBPs. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question there. You know, when you mentioned strategy, I saw Dr. Bassi sit up. You caught his attention.
All right, so my name is Frankan, and I know people are watching someone as an officer and wondering why the person is here and present under this conversation. But I have a lot of interest in HR, and it's quite an opportunity for me to be here. So my question is coming from where we have biases. First of all, I'm looking at conflict of interest. So where an HR manager and an HR business partner, where they disagree on people-related decisions or issues, who has the final say and why? I have two questions. Yes. And the second question talks about, we know the business partner is trying to drive business acumen and also making sure that they have the strategy in line with that of people alignment. So where an HR business partner is closely aligned with the business leaders and appears biased, what happens? Thank you.
Do you want to take some more questions while we answer them together? Answer them as they come.
Right.
Okay. I'm not surprised a man in uniform is asking about war.
Okay.
So please, you can answer.
Okay, okay, sir. So I will try and take the first one. So this is what we have been discussing the whole time. The line of an HR generalist and the line of an HRBP are very different. So when there is an HRBP problem, it goes to the HRBP person. And when there's an HR generalist problem, it goes to the HR generalist. I can better help if I know the scenario. Then I can let you know who owns the burden to answer the question. But the two of them do not meet. They complement each other, but their path is very different.
It is being done well.
Yes, exactly. If it's being done well, that's the caveat. HRBPs, their line is different, and then the HR generalists. So you have HR generalists doing recruitment, filing, payroll, leave administration, etc. at the Center of Excellence and Shared Services. That's it. But the HRBPs, you realize they are sitting with technical director, finance director, and all the directors. They are always in meetings. When you go and waiting for them, you wait. Don't go and look for them. No, don't go and look for any HRBP.
But
You never find
I
them.
don't know if was it the HR generalist or you said the HR manager.
Yeah. So the HR manager will be on the generalist side.
Level.
Yes.
Okay.
There is this thing. So thank you. I just wanted, because what he asked is the same thing that a lot of probably BPs are facing, because you are supposed to be strategic partner, okay, but you find yourself doing everything operations,
Right.
and let's say you are there and the managing director will call you. Are you aware this person is sick? And you know, and you are not aware, you are not for your people, and are you aware this person has a problem? Let's say the person skips you as the business partner and goes directly to probably your MD. You know, we have reporting lines. So as the business partner, you are for business and you are in the middle. I have the picture here. I would have the HR business partner was in the middle, and the business was, you know, they had one of his hand here, and the other one has the other hand here, and they were all pulling the person. This is where BPs find themselves. There is no clear direction where BP should go. So whilst you are thinking strategic, they are thinking the granular things like, why have you not done this recruitment? Why haven't you called the person? Why haven't you done this? You become so confused. It gets to a point you are like, where am I going? Where is the direction? Do we have clear policies? I understand the business where I have to apply my knowledge to make sure I get expected outcomes. The small operations things just, you know, pulling you. You understand? So I want you to come clear on this. Where do you think that the business partner, when you advise, you said one of our tenets is to advise business leaders. That's, you can even advise the CEO and say that, look, we have to do this, or this is my decision on this. And they should take it because they trust your judgment. But where the CEO thinks otherwise, then it makes you probably a puppet, or it makes you somebody who doesn't know his job. So please draw the line, because I am glad that I'm going to join this particular program. But where do BP sit? Because I believe that people are confused. You'll be there and things that, you know, does not really relate to what you should deliver. It's been given to you to deliver. So then you end up, you know, pushing yourself to things that, you know, do not really matter. So please come clear on it.
Okay, thank you. So, ab initio of the discussion, you would recollect that we started by saying most of the time it's when leadership themselves set up the HRBP models when they themselves do not know the expectations of the HRBP. So that is the only time your HRBP will call you and be asking you about leave balance, or whether you have visited a lady at the hospice bay and all those things. But if I will attempt to give some clarity, I will say HRBPs, you will come in when we are looking at external challenges like complexities, globalization, technology, diversity, the complexities of employee these days, all these LGBT. You have to think about the new workforce, which is the Gen Z. Working with them, I have headache. The word Gen Z gives me headache. No, because they don't understand you. You understand? I am from an old school when they say go and you don't go, they knock you. But this one, they even want to resign and they send you WhatsApp. You know. So these are things. So HRBP, you are dealing with the bigger picture, the bigger things. The smaller things, please, let's leave it for our other colleagues. Okay, so that I hope there's some clarity now.
I think that the core of the message is clear, right? The question is quite clear. So maybe someone else wants to have a take on, yeah.
I wanted to take up the second question where he was saying that as a business partner, they perceive you to be biased, etc. That's where the challenge is. Now, on the first one that we are having conversation is basically about positioning the job as the HR partner function. Now, I have seen the model evolved around different organizations. Now, in some organizations, they have called the business partner role to include where you do the administrative job in addition to the business partner job. In some organization, they have created center of excellence where they focus on the administrative whilst you focus on the strategy. So it's about positioning the job very well so that we are all clear in our mind in terms of what is expected of the role. Now, the question about HRBP being biased, I have faced some before. Because you are so much focused and commercially aware, you are kind of or sort of coming across as you want the business to win and you want the business to deliver. And so anything at all you need to do in terms of strategy to get the business to drive to win is that's how you come across as. Now we need to, as HR, we need to be very careful in terms of drawing the line where what needs to be done and what we need to be ethical. That's the word. We need to be ethical in terms of what we want the business to achieve. Now, one of the things that is expected of a business partner again is how you are going to work with the business to be able to deliver results. So you need to be ethical and draw the line in terms of what's coming. So whereas the HR traditionalist is looking at the policy says this, the regulation says that, you as the HR business partner, you are looking at how we can draw people's solutions to solve those challenges that the business have, not necessarily looking at what the policy is saying and whatsoever. So far as it does not break law, so far as it is ethical, so far as it's I mean, there's nothing really major that is going to happen. Whilst you have looked at law, you have looked at ethicality. I think that is where you should stand as a HR business partner to support the business. Because me, I like money. If the business make money, that's when my salary will go up. So anything at all that will help any people solutions that will help the business to thrive, that is what I want to do. In my office, when I was holding the senior business partner role, my people or my center of excellence, the people who were driving that, they call me pressure person because I'll give you pressure. I will not let you sleep until I gotten that solution to my people. And that is where we need to get. And that's how the business will see your real value as a partner. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. Questions from online. So let me see, I'll take two more questions, right? So I saw your hand and you raised your hand. So take two more questions. Or else we'll finish the module before we start.
Okay, mine is not a question. I think we've been talking about the line between the business partner. I just wanted to bring to bear a bit of my experience. And I think the problem is that organizations are implementing the HRBP role in isolation. So I think the middle person mentioned it. It has to come with a centers of expertise or excellence. Then you have your shared services, just as the keynote speaker spoke. And of course, there are areas where if you are partnering a particular business within the organization, you are the link between that business and what is required. So if somebody needs a recruitment headcount, you are not the one going to follow through sourcing and all that kind of thing. However, you are a link. You cannot be in isolation. You work with them to get it done. Focusing on the things that are strategic. You're always sitting in their leadership meetings to understand what exactly they want to achieve in terms of objectives and goals. Then your people objectives, don't forget, your people objectives that is coming from HR as a whole. How does that support what they want, what they need? So there is this back and forth. And I think because the implementation has been done in isolation for a lot of organizations, they don't have that middle ground. And as I think I'll join, Esquire said, people have just been transformed. Okay, you are no longer an HR manager, you're an HRBP.
A VP, just like that.
Without the entire implementation of shared services, centers of expertise, like learning, resourcing, and the rest. So there's no backup. So at the end, if they need people, you are the one who is going to source. If they need learning, you are the one who is going to train.
Yeah.
So until we have that, and I'm sure the certification will come out with that, it has to be implemented as a whole. Thank you.
So in actual fact, it is a consultative role. Yeah? You're always consulting the top. Because the typical question that you did ask, for the MD to come to you and ask, have you called somebody who is sick? I'm afraid it means that he himself does not understand this whole whatever the structure concerning or surrounding the HRBP. Like you rightly said, if you have your shared system in place, so the shared system, they are the ones dealing with the administrative staff, I'm going on leave, my salary, the utility bits of this item did not show up, all those administrative staff, they deal with it. Then, of course, we have the Center of Excellence. We are talking about those in charge of the training, building talent. We are talking about the recruiting aspect, resourcing. We're also talking about the reward system and the payroll and benefits. All those are under the what? Center of Excellence. It's very clear. You know what? Those online, I'm sure that with all that we have said, you are not asking yourself, hey, you can. You just have to enroll yourself and start this course ASAP. ASAP. Papa, when are we starting? 11th July. All these, challenges and misunderstandings you're having in your head, they will be cleared one touch. One touch. So join us from the 11th of July, 2026. How many modules? 8 simple modules. Please join us and have a full grasp of all the information. We have the last question here, madam. Yes.
Yes. My name is Cheryl, and my question is, I came in a bit late, so I don't know if it's been tackled, but I wanted to know if the HRBP role can be specialized. I'm asking because some 6 years ago, I got a job offer and it read HRBP recruitment. I recently worked with a global company and the job title was HRBP complement. So I'm asking, is the HRBP role, can it be specialized? My second question will be, in terms of succession planning, where does the HRBP move to? An assistant can be a manager, but where does the HRBP move to? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. I'll attempt to see if I can answer it. Now, I'll start with your last question before I go to the. In terms of your career path, it all depends on 2 things. One, yourself as an individual in terms of what your career aspiration is. Mind you, depending on where your career aspirations are, that's where you build yourself. You build yourself to achieve those ones. So if your career aspiration is to become the head of HR, then you start to build yourself in terms of the capabilities that you need to attain to be able to achieve that. Now, the model, because of the way people have kind of implemented it, it depends on how it has been implemented and how you run your HR business partner, because you come across as you should be able to have knowledge in all the areas in the HR. So when it comes to talent acquisition, talent management, performance management, etc., all those areas, you cannot be a business partner without having knowledge in all these areas. So you should be like a generalist in those areas. Now, once you have an idea of all these areas, of course, as the head of HR, you should be able to implement people's strategy within all these spaces. So I can easily say that if you do your business partner and you do it very well, you should be able to take up a head of HR role at any space. Now, when it comes to where organizations have designed the HR business partner to say HR business partner talent, HR business partner performance, etc. I think it's the size of the organization. So if the size of the organization is that big, in order to clean and sweat most of the HR activities that you want to run in your spaces, then you want to have people who will drive those things. So I think that is how people have modeled it in their various organizations. Yes.
Okay, so
Please, I would love my senior. I've seen my senior sitting here. I would love her to say something because I know she's a brutal mind when it comes to that.
Thank you very much. So, when it comes to business partnering, it's just the two words, the business and you being a partner. You need to identify how is the business partitioned so you can partner it well. So is the business partitioned in divisions where, for example, you have manufacturing and support. Then how do you partner with the manufacturing? How do you partner with the support? But you can't partner if you don't know the business. That is key. Number two, how does the business make money? How does the business lose money? So you also seal the loose ends. Then the business partnering comes with how you engage stakeholders. This commercial person is only talking about sales. He doesn't care people sitting in the sun to sell. He's only looking at how much did they sell. You are looking at how many people can go early in the morning before the sun comes, how much they will give, who can go in the evenings, who can even go in the night, depending on what you are selling. Because if it's alcohol, daytime is not your business. You are doing night, and your peak is Friday, Saturday, Asa, 1931. So the partner, you must know the business, you must know your products, you must also know your stakeholders. How do you communicate with even the board? Because you need to know what they are looking for from you. Then the management, the senior management, and most business partnering fail because of this tier. The ones just after the board, they usually don't understand HR, number one. They also don't understand the partnering. And so they won't even involve you. I'm a partner, but you are having meetings and I'm not there. How do I come in and support you? And when they will bring you, they only bring you when they are talking about the people, forgetting that the partner has dimensions in every aspect of the business. Then partnering with the line managers, the middle managers is also one of them. And then the people, who is another dimension of this challenge we have with business partnering. They don't understand why you are an HR business partner. You didn't attend their wedding. And they take it against you. Meanwhile, the one who is responsible for shared services, including welfare, was there. Okay. So, like you said in the beginning, it's not every business that should enter this business partnering thing.
Yes, that's
you
true.
You need to understand your business, your mandate, your strategies. Then you look at how your business is partitioned and then you go in. For the practitioner, it's a very good way to rise because it forces you to understand the business and not just the people. Yes, it's a very good way to rise. So please take advantage of this course. I'm not saying this because I'm a facilitator here, but when you understand the business and you are at meetings,
It's fun.
When you are talking and they keep quiet to listen, it's so enjoyable.
They just listen as if you are spilling wisdom.
I know, right?
But for you, it's just easy because it's part of you.
Yeah.
Okay. But when you don't understand the business and a lot of people are resigning and they are falling sick, and so what?
Mm-hmm.
And so what? So it's a very good opportunity for us to build capacity, whether you want to be a partner or not. The course will help you to engage these 4 stakeholders I've talked about, and then how to even support your business to give results. Thank you.
So you know why I said that she's a
Thank you so
brutal
much.
mind. A better round of applause, ladies, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Please, we have the photographer. Want to take a picture? So please, panelists, if you can be on the feet to take a picture, a quick picture. Okay, so take a quick picture. I hope the conversation was engaging and informative. Please, are you responding? Okay, because I didn't hear you. Okay. You can always trust the Nikia to make it very engaging. Yeah. I told you she has 20 years experience in communication, right? Yeah. She's a pro like that. With her microphone in the corner there. Come on. Please let me add up. Okay, a round of applause for our panelists and our moderator. Thank you so much. One thing for me is that at least the pain point for the HRBP has certainly been highlighted. We've all understood why the HRBP's position is very necessary and how we can also scale it up. For me, one thing that I heard that has really stuck with me is that as the HRBP, you have to think like a CEO, and you should have the skills for high-level stakeholder engagement. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for sharing with us. At this point, we want to hear from our hosts. And with a round of applause, help me welcome the Executive Director of the HR Certification Center, Pearl P. Tehoda. Oh, please keep clapping. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kwabena. A very good evening to all of you. And for our online participants, it's a good morning or a good afternoon. I have been informed that we have 7 other countries apart from Ghana. And so it's important that we acknowledge their various locations. Before I start, I want to welcome you, even though you've been welcome. It's an honor to have all of you here. We do not take it for granted, Thursday afternoon or Thursday evening, and we have to drag all of you here. And so we are grateful. We appreciate the support for the HR Certification Center. I also want to say a big thank you to our panelists, Ephraim, Festus, and Kweku, the Esquire, and of course, Nana Ikuya for doing us the honors. We heard from Fiona as well from MTN. She was our keynote speaker. Thank you very much. My boss is staring at me, and so let me use the opportunity to acknowledge the presence of my boss, Dr. Jeff Kwame Bassey. Say, thank you for coming. All right, so we have quite a number of companies represented here. And it's interesting to note that we are not just starting a conversation in this room, but the conversation would move beyond this room to our corporate spaces, to the boardroom, and this conversation will reshape how we manage our people going into the future. And I will just run through some of the companies. Please pardon me quickly so we can move on to launch the program. We have CBG, I saw John just walked in. CBG fully represented here. We have MTN Ghana represented here, Ghana Health Service. We have Meridian Logistics and Engineering. GB Foods represented, Cocoa Marketing Company. Deloitte represented, Ghana Police Service. I'm sure they are online, and I'm wondering why Ghana Police Service is in an HRBP program. Anyway, we are resetting, so yeah, of course. And then we have Niche Cocoa Industry, Prudential Bank, Multivet Ghana, Global Evangelical Church. Global Evangelical Church, okay, head office. We have Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We have Maverick Research. We have Rockshore International, Sunda International, Epiroc, SNET is here. We have UNFPA also here. We have Channel 1 TV. We have Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. Those are some of our colleagues online. We have GCB Bank, University of Health and Allied Services, Winneba Municipal Hospital, and Kafo Psychiatric Hospital, Adanse Travels, and the list is on and on and on. The beautiful thing is that we have both the public and the private firms. We have the very traditional institutions been here long, but they still want to learn and grow. And we have the new ones also coming up, fairly new into our spaces also coming up. We appreciate all of you for coming. We have started a conversation. And this conversation, we want, like I said, to move beyond these four corners into the boardrooms and into, or to shape how we manage our people. I'm sure some 10 years ago, you heard some stories about HR. And companies or institutions came up and reshaped the thinking around HR. And I'm glad that I've seen faces that have gone through our certification sitting here. And I want to believe that the story as it was 10 years ago is not the same story we see today. But the beautiful thing is that the story again must change. So Esquire was saying that he can't just relate with the Gen Zs. But ladies and gentlemen, we will live with them. We would work with them. They are the future that we are talking about. And so if we cannot make space for them in our businesses, then there is a challenge. And you know how they see us? We are difficult. They also cannot work with us. And so we're having many conversations right here at the HR Certification Center. And as we move into the conversation of HR business partner, we want you to position yourself not just as that HR going to perform another role, but we want you to position yourself as a mini business consultant with a strategic HR skill. I'm sure this will settle all of the confusion around HRBP. If you are looking to go into HR business partner, we want you to position yourself as that mini business consultant. You must understand, and it is the first of all the skills you must build, to understand the business environment. And the business environment, we are not just talking about that office. We are talking about why your business is in existence, who your customers are, what are their preferences, what is the future looking like for the business you're supporting, what is competition saying, what is government legislation saying about the business environment. You must understand. And you must also go beyond that to understand what it means for your business to make money and to lose money. Without that, you are not ready to become an HR BP. Now you will be wondering, for those who are new to the HR Certification Center, we have been training and developing HR practitioners to become strategic HR partners. And we have been doing this for the past 11 years. We take joy in having people sit in the classroom and we shift their mindset. We reshape their thinking. We send them back to industry and they are able to deliver value for their organizations. And we've been doing that for 11 years. And out of this, the conversation of HRBP came to the fore. So for those of you who have gone through the HR certification program, our module 1 used to be strategic HR or strategic human resources. Then some 3 years ago, that module was redesigned. So for those who were coming through SPHR, you were supposed to study leadership and strategy. And you are wondering, HR, leadership and strategy, they are like vast, there's a vast difference. And for those who came through the middle level certification, your module number 1 were renamed or rephrased to business management. And you now understand why the conversation to HRBP is very critical for you. Who is to go through the HRBP program? Anybody and everybody. HR generalist, specialist, business manager, now entering into HR. Anybody who wants to understand business into detail, anybody who wants to understand people management, you qualify to go through the HRBP program. Now, whilst the conversation was ongoing, I said part of my work was done because I didn't have to talk much. Because when you look at how the HRBP program was curated, we looked at all of the conversations that happened here, and we redesigned the module for the HRBP, and I'll be walking you through that pretty shortly. So like mentioned, the program is an 8-week program, right? 8-week program, 8 modules. And so if you're coming through the program, the first module you will be studying is the HR business partner identity, authority, and positioning. You must have authority. You must position yourself. Totally different from someone who is doing the HR general role. If that is not done, then of course there will be problem right from the beginning. And so in this module, we are looking at the evolution of the HRBP role. We are looking at HRBP versus traditional HR roles. We are looking at strategic credibility and influence, positioning HR as a value creator. Somebody spoke about co-creation, value creator for the business. We're also looking at ethical leadership and professional authority. So that is module number 1. And then we move on to module number 2. We are looking at workforce planning and management. And in this module, we would be looking at strategic workforce planning models, manpower forecasting techniques, talent segmentation and critical roles, succession planning is in there. We are looking at managing workforce risk in emerging markets. Of course, very important for an HRBP. Then in module number 3, we are looking at HR and cross-functional business strategy. You agree with me that you're not going to exist just for yourself, but you're going to work with different departments, different units, or different functions of the business. And so you must understand how to work with all of these functions with their business strategies. And then you look at module number 4, which is HR consulting and stakeholder management. Yvonne, thank you for bringing that up. You did part of my work. It's important for HRBPs to know how to manage stakeholders. Otherwise, there will be problem. There will be chaos. And so if you have to deal with this business unit, you must have skills on how to manage them. The difficult ones, the seemingly, pleasant ones, and even stakeholders beyond the business. You must learn how to manage them. So that's module number 4. And then module number 5 is looking at business and financial intelligence. Dear HRs, they said I should tell you that you cannot be an HR, neither can you be an HR BP without financial knowledge. So if you don't like maths, please go and start liking maths so that when you come to class, we can understand how to position you to understand financial intelligence for your business. When that financial statement is presented to you, you must make meaning out of it. And you must use that data to take decisions that will help you to advise the various units or functions you support. Then module number 6, we'll look at the balance scorecard, very critical. How to translate strategy into KPIs and how to use your HR scorecards and dashboards and how you can have tracking of your strategies. Then module number 7, we'll look at business compliance and administration. And here we are looking at the critical things. Of course, you're doing the work of the business, you're doing the work of HR. So you must understand the labor law and then all the other governance issues, HR audits, ethics, and all of that. Then finally, module number 8, we'll look at HR analytics for business decision making. I'm sure by now you will agree with us that we took our time in curating the modules so that you can walk out of our doors and be confident to go and practice as an HR BP. All right. I would love to talk about the entire program. So from the learning to all of the activities, but I will summarize it. So one of the key things we are doing is looking at a way of assessing your knowledge before you finish the program. And so there will be structured quizzes. You would have capstone projects within the 8 weeks, because we want to be sure that we are not just giving you knowledge, but you have full understanding of the knowledge and how practical you can use it when you get out there. So we would have structured quizzes. If you are like me and you're afraid of exams, be rest assured that this is going to be tailored to suit your schedules and whoever you are. All right, so that's a way of assessing you. And then at the end of the program, you will write a final examination. And after that exam, when you pass, you walk away with an HRBP certificate. Now, this program also will run in partnership with HRCI, that is the certification partner for our main certifications. Now, each of these modules will be submitted for recertification credit. So for those of us who are already certified, you can use them for recertification. But most importantly is a learning curve for the new ones who are joining. And if there is anything you know the HR Certification Center for, is our College of Facilitators, well curated to bring you practical knowledge from industry into the classroom, and also to help you appreciate the role of HRBP before you walk out. Registration is effectively in session. Nanekia started the marketing for us. And so the first of its kind, this is the first certification program in HRBP, and it is starting on the 11th of July. And so registration is opened. My people say I should give you some special package for being at the launch of the program. Hey, I haven't said it, but you are clapping. Okay, so before you walk out, there will be some registration, so you can do an early bird registration. Once you register, that discount will apply to you. So there is a 10% discount on tuition fee for early bird registration, and it ends in May is it 30th May? So 30th May, that early bird discount is ending. All right. So once you do the registration, that will be communicated to you. So before I leave, I would want to officially launch this program. There's no champagne, there's no cake, but on behalf of all of us at the HR Certification Center, and for those of you seated here and also joining us virtually, I understand we have participants from America, from India, Pakistan, Ivory Coast, Sierra Leone, yes, and all of that. And so on behalf of all of us, we officially declare the HRBP certification program duly launched and open for registration and takeoff in July 2026. And I want to see all of you in that class. All right, thank you very much. Kwabena, over to you.
Thank you very much, Pearl P. Tehoda. Oh, please, you can keep clapping for her. One thing that I always hasten to add when I'm around HR certification center is to say that I am not an HR. I'm a marketing practitioner. But I really envy you because HR certification center has been consistently intentional about making you efficient and effective at what you do. Every now and then, if you are clapping, clap. Every now and then I see that HR Certification Center is finding something that's going to help you to do well in your practice. And I think it's enviable. I was sitting there, I was just asking that when will my marketing people do something like this for us? When? But the time is coming. Yeah. So now we want to take a word from the founder of the HR Certification Center and the Institute of Leadership. Just pay attention to how I mentioned the next word, leadership and strategy, in the person of Dr. Jeff Bassi. Where we are sitting now, he's the landlord. Please, round of applause. Let's welcome landlord.
ILS is hosting you. Well, you did not say a thank you to me for agreeing to host this program for you. Huh? My accountant will write to your accountant. A very good evening to you all. And thank you so much for coming as always. Those who are in person here, finding time off your busy schedule. Today is a working day. But for our colleagues who are equally online, we are immensely grateful for your time with us. I will not do more than 5 minutes. You gave me 15 minutes. I will surprise you today. HRBP. So far, I've guided 4 organizations in either installing the HRBP concept or taking their HR professionals through how it runs. And in one of the organizations I engaged, one fine lady took me on. Hold it, this HRBP thing, I've been hearing it. HR, we know what it stands for, human resources. But the BP, because the best she knows about BP is blood pressure. yeah, that's what she told me, blood pressure. So is it HR blood pressure? Madam Yvonne, you got a lot of work to do. A lot have been said, and to be honest with you, I don't have much to add to it, except that we are supposed to be building bridges between strategy and operations, the concept of HRBP, translating business goals into people actions. One of the challenges I have had to deal with in engaging some of these organizations, and I'm happy seeing Ghana Port and Harbours Authority representatives here because they took me out of town for 2 weeks just to go facilitate sessions for them on the concept of HRBP. One of the challenges I came across have to do with how we are unable to get the business heads, call them GM or HOD, appreciate the concept. Some of them actually believe that you were sent there from central HR to come and be spying on them.
So you are a spy. And so they better believe that they can do a lot of things without your involvement, because you're only there to notice wrongs and then hotline to Director HR, who is fundamentally custodian of HR policies of the organization. And I've always said one of the most powerful tools in the hands of every leader, it's in your ability to engage and to communicate. The most powerful tool in the hand of a leader is your ability to engage and communicate. Guys, have you realized that nothing influences the human heart more than words? If you are able to, I'm not asking you to use words to manipulate people, but if you can use words properly, you would always have people following you. I've always thought that one of the most influential leaders who ever lived was Osama bin Laden. The guy was in hiding for 10 years. He was in full control of the Al-Qaeda, executed because he was speaking to them. This is a guy who could send you on a mission, you know you are not coming back. So if influence had anything to do with leadership at all, then he was a great leader. The fact that he directed it to the negative doesn't make a lot of difference. Go and execute this mission. You won't come back. And the guy agrees to go. And all we are asking you to do is get people to do their work. What is difficult about that? So in my candid opinion, if you ask me, the ability to engage, to lead these business leaders. Because trust me, once you are an HRBP, you obviously are dealing with two superiors. Whilst consulting for Newmont, it was one of the things we had to deal with, where you have an HRBP, say at Achim Mines, who is operationally responsible to the general manager of the mine, who have the responsibility to grow the assets, to demonstrate return on investment. But at the same time, there's a functional head, or call him Director HR, who is a custodian of the policies. And so you are functionally responsible to that guy, but also operationally responsible to the business head, who have work to do and business to deliver for the business. And if you ask me, once you are able to influence, communicate, and engage, we can start a good conversation on the HRBP. Madam have done a bit of work already. Nobody does it better than us at the HR Certification Center. Nobody beats us on that. If you want to be that commanding HRBP with a lot of influence, you enroll with us. And she has already mentioned we have a college of instructors that are second to none. One of them was the one speaking when I walked into the room. General Manager HR, Ghana Gas. If on radio Akpabli, if she's in charge, you are safe. Thank you all for coming. We look forward to having you in our class.
Dr. Bassi has surprised all of us. Even though he didn't do 5 minutes, but he did less than 10 minutes. Please clap for Dr. Bassi. It is unprecedented. Okay, so at this point, we are wrapping up. Just want to say a very big thank you to all of you for making time to be here. And to lead us in the vote of thanks, we want to welcome the head of consulting at HRCC, Papa Oz, with a round of applause. Let's welcome him.
All right, thank you very much. I began with you, I'm ending with you. All right. All right, so first, I would like to thank all of us for being here. I heard the traffic was crazy. And so for being here early, I'm grateful. Thank you very much for coming. I also like to thank our keynote speaker, Ms. Fiona. As I said, when I grow up, I want to be like you. Thank you very much for coming, and we are grateful. Also, thank you very much, our panel. My boss, Kweku, we are grateful. From all your busy schedules being here, I'm very grateful. And I hope we will continue this conversation. Senior Festus, thank you. Thank you very much. It looks like we are learning colleagues. And then Ephraim, thank you very much. Thank you. We're grateful. And then to our boss lady. She told me not to do this, but let me do this. Thank you very much. Nana, you've been helpful. Nana will call you, Papa. Is everything okay? Make sure everything you've delivered. Thank you very much. I'm grateful. Then to ILS, who gave us the venue. In fact, Doc jumped. I was going to do it. That was my job. Thank you very much, Doc, for giving us this wonderful place. We came here and we said this is a strategic place. Thank you very much. We are grateful. And thank you to the team from HRCC. Since 2 weeks ago when we started putting things together, you've been with us. Thank you very much. I know you are supposed to be home by now, but you're still here. I'm grateful. Very, very grateful. Thank you very much. Now, before we leave, we'll be giving you this brochure for the course. You get all the details there. And then there's a QR code for early registration. So you just scan, we'll get your details, we'll contact you, and we'll take it from there. The organizations that want us to write them to them officially, please let us know from here, and I will make the arrangement so that you write to your organizations. If you want us to come and meet your business leaders to convince them, we are available to come in and have that conversation. Thank you very much for coming, and we are grateful. Yes, and to my online participants, hey, thank you very much for joining us. I know we have people from Bangladesh, people from India, all joining us for this program. We are grateful. Thank you very much for joining us.
I hope this doesn't increase my minutes to 15. It doesn't. For the head of HRs who are here, who are not necessarily going to be HR VPs, I realize that there is normally semi lack of executive support. You send an HR VP to a department, and the CEO, director HR has not engaged the HOD. Why won't the HOD reject the guy? All right. So you, the leaders, the big HRs, be sure that they see executive support. Talk to the general manager of the business so that it doesn't antagonize, for want of a composite expression, the HR VP that you send to the business. All right. So that has increased my 5 minutes to 6 minutes.
Thank you very much. So before we close, we want to take a big picture. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Kwamena Michedapa, and I've been your MC. And I do this professionally. So you are HRs, you organize the programs. If you need an MC, call me. Thank you very much. Please, let's take a picture. Photographer, are we ready? Okay, please, can we all come to the stage so that we all take a picture together? So that when you come for your early bird tickets and they say they don't remember you, can point your face on the picture. Yes. Okay. Yes. I don't want to say the shortest, the cute. I was looking for the right word. So please, the cutest one should be on the stage. Where do you fall? Hi. Good to see you. Hi. I'm good. And you? I'm fine. Please let's all come on the stage. On the stage. Yes. Yeah. So those who have a bit of height can come down so that it balances. Those who are tall. Yeah. Officer. I think that the panelists can be in front. The panelists can be in front. Yes. The panelists can be in front. Absa, you are top, so you can go at the back for us. Absa. No. You if you go like you talk. So go up. Go up. Yes. Peter is Dr. Bassi. So Doc, please you can come down. So you have all the okay. So are you okay? All right, please let me hear your smile. Yes. Say Banshee. Yes, when you say Banshee, you smile. That's the conventional wisdom. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the line. I like the question. It was very deep. How do you work?
I just changed jobs, so I'm currently at TGTS. We sell SAP software. So I would like to see a couple of people if they're interested in our software to some contacts.
I just have a feeling that you'll be organizing a program so you need that. So I'm taking your number.
I used to be with you, so I'll take
Oh, okay. Okay. You just move. And more money. There.
0 2 0 Cheryl.
Oh, I have your number.
I think you have it.
Wow, interesting.
You did?
Okay, so I used to work here.
Design.
Yes.
Come back.
No.
We're just doing this.
Yes.
Because I've seen